Hello and welcome to What the Faux Travel Podcast Series 4. This is episode 1 and this one is all about Chile.
Hey guys, we are back. Really happy to be back. Let's go.
This is series 4, episode 1. I can't believe we're here from the first episode we ever recorded and we're already at series 4. But guys, thanks so much for your support because while we've been away, you've been messaging us saying, when are you coming back? And all of that. And it's been really nice to see that you're there and waiting. So thank you very much.
It's really nice. I didn't think people would even realise that we're on a break. But yeah, thanks guys.
Shut up. We are totally famous.
But no, it's really nice. Thank you guys. But we are back. So yay, that's really good.
So for the first episode of series 4, we are talking about Chile. Like we've said, we are going to go into game show facts. We are going to have language lessons with a woman called Camilla, who we stayed with in Santiago. We're going to talk about Santiago itself with our walking tour guide. We're going to tell you what a Pisco party is. We're going to talk about Valparaiso. Our game this month is called Chilli Chile Chilli. We'll explain that a little bit more later. We talk about Antofagasta, VLTs, which are the very large telescopes, San Pedro de Atacama, which is where you can do loads of nature stuff. We're really going to delve into this country and show you why you should go there. So let's talk about Chile. Now, if you've heard the podcast before, you probably know that South America is for sure our favourite continent. So this is going to be a pretty positive episode. But, you know, there's ups and downs with every country, and we're going to run that through with you. If you're thinking of going to Chile or if you've been before and you know what we're talking about, we're going to fully explain everywhere we went, why you should go there, why you might not want to go there, and prices, and we're going to delve into it all. So let's learn about Chile.
But before we do, it's time for shout-outs. Have you forgotten how the show works?
You always ruin my flow.
It's not me, it's the plan of the show. So we'll start with shout-outs. Now, since we've been on break, like normally if people write nice messages to us, I'm on it and I write it down. I think that'll be a good shout-out. For the last couple of months, I haven't cared, right? And I've forgotten to do it. But I've got a couple of great ones coming up. So for everyone who's written? For everyone that's written to us.
God, you can't even speak English.
Everyone that's written to us, and I'm not mentioning you, I'm very sorry, we were on break. But if you want to get a shout out on the show, just send us nice messages from now, okay?
I mean, you could just go back and look at them.
No, because they're on Instagram like a long time ago. Like I don't think Instagram I don't think Instagram goes back that far. Right, I'm just gonna get on with it.
I feel like there's just too many for us to find.
That's the problem, exactly. Right, okay, let's do this. So the first shout out is a Patreon shout out. We have a new patron on board and it's Sergio Parado, and this guy is just the nicest guy ever. He's actually he was our couch surfing host in La Paz, and like the day we left him, I got an email from Patreon saying, you have a new patron, Sergio Parado.
Oh, Sergio, you're breaking my heart. Not only did you let us stay with you in your house and you were just so generous, and now you're doing this.
Yeah, he was really nice. You'll hear from him on our Bolivia episode. But Sergio, welcome to the Patreon crew, you hero. Shout outs, here we go. Lizzie Alice got in touch and she said, hi guys, I've recently discovered your podcast through Carl Watson, whose films I love.
Who?
I mean, he's all right, Carl Watson.
Who the hell is Carl Watson?
About half our listeners know us because of Carl. And now I love your podcast too. Thank you, Lizzie. So thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm currently starting, this is her still talking. I'm currently starting to plan a 3-week trip to Croatia in August. Have you been, and do you have any tips?
No.
Love from Oxford, Lizzie. Thanks for getting in touch. And Amy's right. We have not been, so we can't help you. Let's move on. And we also heard from Jared Cooper. Got in touch on Instagram to say that he went to Nepal because he listened to us.
Oh,
wow,
lad.
That is amazing. Like when people say stuff like that, that blows my mind. Why are you listening to us? But we're glad you did. And yeah, Nepal is a great country. It's beautiful. That's it. I'm done.
Oh, great. Okay.
There are more, but I didn't write them down.
Okay, well, this is the Nick show, so let's move on to the next thing, game show facts.
Here we go. Right.
When do I get my limelight? It gets to language lessons with Amy when it's my turn, and then I just let the guests speak because, I'm a true presenter. You just hug all the limelight and the microphones.
Okay, let's go back to what the people want. More of me. Chili facts. Okay, normally I think of a catchy thing to say here, but I haven't got one. So start the music now, please. Chile is one of South America's most stable and prosperous nations. The capital and biggest city is Santiago. The population is around 20 million, and as a former Spanish colony, the major language is Spanish. In 1818, Chile becomes independent from Spain. 1879 to 1884, Chile increases its territory by 1/3 after it defeats Peru and Bolivia in the War of the Pacific. In 1973, Augusto Pinochet proceeds to establish a brutal dictatorship that lasts until the 1990s. Chile is the longest country in the world at 4,300 kilometres, but it's also very thin, on average 175 kilometres wide. This has given Chile a hugely varied climate. This ranges from the world's driest desert in the Atacama in the north, a Mediterranean climate in the centre, and a snow-prone alpine climate in the south. Once, it did not rain in the Atacama Desert for 40 years. Easter Island, famous for its massive head statues, belongs to Chile. I'm going to keep that in. There are famous head statues. Great insight, Nick. There are approximately 90 active volcanoes in Chile, and small earthquakes are common. Chile has suffered the biggest earthquake ever in 1960 at 9.6 magnitude. Chile only legalised divorce in 2004, the last country in the Western Hemisphere to do so. And finally, Ushuaia in Argentina is the world's most southernmost major settlement and is renowned as the end of the world. However, it is the Chilean town of Puerto Williams on the island of Navarino that is the southernmost human settlement overall. Woo! There we go. So if you've been to Ushuaia and you tell people it's the most southern settlement in the world, you're talking shit.
So stop telling people that, basically.
It's Chile.
Okay. Good facts.
Any there that stand out to you?
Well, I knew the one that was the longest country in the world.
Yeah.
Which is weird because out of all the places we've travelled, we've done the least buses. So it didn't really feel like that to us. We kind of got through it quite quickly.
Yeah, we flew there, didn't we?
Well, we threw part of the country, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we will explain later. But have you looked at your bank account? Have you got the payment back for that flight?
Refund? No.
Oh.
We'll go into this.
Okay. Right, well, let's move on to language lessons. We'll explain the flight in a bit.
I feel like you didn't like my facts. No, that's fine. Let's move on.
I feel like you presented them really well.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, there we go. Have to keep these men satisfied
Keep
with
my ego
compliments.
happy. Yes,
he
carry
has
on.
become such a diva since we started this podcast. Right, okay, language lessons with me.
It's not really, though, is it?
Yeah, this is with Camilla. Now, Camilla is a local woman from Santiago, and she is an absolute diamond. I love her to bits. She is amazing. We stayed with her and her boyfriend, Ben, who is English and a bit of a twat. No.
Whoa.
No, I'm joking. No, I love Ben as well. But Nick, you used to play football with Ben.
Yeah, it's a really random story. We'll talk about them more later because you'll hear from them later. But yeah, a friend of mine from the old town of Malden, where I grew up, now lives in Santiago. So we stayed with him and his girlfriend Camilla. And it was Camilla that helped you out with language lessons.
Yes. Here is a conversation I had with her about Chilean Spanish and particularly the slang that they have there.
Maybe this is not slang, but we use a lot the word cachai.
Cachai.
That means, do you catch me? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
That's
Like,
some
me
Chileans-
entiendes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Some Chileans use it way too lot. Every phrase, it was like cachai, telling a story. And it's like, so I went to the barbecue, cachai.
Okay.
Everything cachai. So of course you're kidding me. But
Yeah.
they repeat it anyway. And maybe the most well-known slang in Chile is weón. It means big balls, really.
Okay.
But we use it for everything.
And I remember the video you showed us on YouTube, you said that the word fiesta is really different.
Carrete. Beer is chela.
Chela. And so why is it so different? So you still understand traditional Spanish, don't you?
Yeah, we do. For example, bus here is micro, but in Colombia would be guagua, I think.
The bus, guagua.
We have different words for everything.
Wow. So what's the name in Chile?
Micro.
Micro.
Yeah.
Con C.
Like mini. Micro.
Micro. Okay. And kind of everyday greetings, are they the same? Would you say hola, ciao, gracias?
Hola, ¿cómo estáis?
¿Cómo estáis? So that's a bit
¿Cómo
more...
estás? It's ¿cómo estáis? We don't pronounce S's or D's.
So that sounds a bit more Italian. ¿Cómo estáis? ¿Cómo estáis?
Hola, ¿cómo estáis?
So I'm sorry you could hear me in the background during that little chat. I was trying to work a barbecue. You could hear me say, "Shall I turn the peppers?" Sorry about that.
Wait a minute, you were not trying to work the barbecue. Ben was doing all of the work.
Okay, yeah, I was cooking peppers. They were cooking the meat. The men were cooking the meat, and I was sorting out the veg. But interesting chat. Before we went to Chile, we heard that, we're like Chileans. They're the ones that, if you can speak traditional Spanish, you'll never understand Chilean people. So we went there kind of expecting that, didn't we? But you, because you can speak Spanish, you did understand people quite well. But as Camilla was saying, they have so many different words, don't they?
Yeah, and they're just completely different as well. Like, I can't even remember the word now, but from fiesta to their word, it's just completely different. It's not similar at all. So yeah, but they definitely are very fast speakers. I think that's the kind of main difference, is that they just speak so fast and you're like, slow down, this is a second language.
Yeah, fast with a lot of slang. So when you put that together, it's going to be difficult. But like Camila was saying, if you're someone that does speak traditional Spanish, Chileans will still understand you. Like they still understand proper Spanish.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of blown out of proportion how difficult they are to understand, because I went there thinking, okay, it's going to be a completely different language, and I did understand people. So just, I don't know, keep your ears open and think fast.
Yeah, you'll be fine. If you can speak a bit of Spanish, you will be fine, no problem. So shall we move on to a brief overview of our trip in Chile?
Yeah, so we went to Santiago first, the capital, and then we went to Valparaiso, Antofagasta, San Pedro de Atacama.
Yeah, so Santiago and Valparaiso, like in the middle, and then we flew north. We didn't have time or the money to go south to Patagonia, but we will. Patagonia itself could be a whole episode, just that region.
Absolutely.
So, yes, shall we start then by talking about Santiago?
Yes, so like we said, we stayed with Camilla and Ben in their their house in Santiago, and we had a great time. I mean, we had Pisco parties, which is the local drink there, but we turned it into a whole party, Pisco party. We'll tell you about that as well.
We had a very good time with them. Ben kindly showed us around the city. We also did a walking tour while we were there, and you will hear from our walking tour guide shortly. But what do we think? We'll talk about Ben and Camilla later, the time we had with them. What do you think about Santiago, Amy, as a place for tourists to go?
Yeah, so it's the capital city, but I think it's very different to other capital cities where normally in a capital city you'll have the business place, you'll have the cultural place, and then, like the going out place, the nightlife place. But it didn't really have that. It just felt very businessy and logical and just quite structured, where Valparaiso, the place we went to after, was like 2 hours drive away, and that felt like the cultural part of the capital city, but they were just kind of cut in half. I guess it's a bit similar to how you have Barcelona and Madrid. For me, Madrid is very, not strict isn't the right word, but straight edged, and then Barcelona is very cultural, like, you have a lot of music and art and nightlife there.
I would agree with that. Business in Madrid, fun in Barcelona. Similar, yeah. Santiago, I mean, maybe we've got the wrong end of the stick, but this is just our observation, our opinion. It just seemed very businessy. It didn't seem like there was a great deal for tourists to do. You can walk up the famous San Cristobal Hill You get a nice view over the city, but because the city's quite polluted, you can't really see very far through the smog. And there are mountains almost surrounding the whole city, you know, the Andes Mountains, but we couldn't really see them. Maybe we were just there on bad weather days because of the smog and the pollution. But yeah, do you not agree? Like, I don't know. We didn't get the best feel for Santiago, although we were staying with great hosts. Like, it was our hosts that made the experience, didn't they?
Yeah, like I feel very conflicted saying this because we had a brilliant time there, but that's because we were with local people. We went to their family's house for a barbecue. We were really immersed in the culture, and that's why we had a really good time. But I do believe if we were just in a hostel by ourselves, we wouldn't have spent long in Santiago at all. Like maybe a day, do a walking tour, and then you're kind of off to the next place, really.
For sure. What was good, but you could do this anywhere in Chile, Ben and Camilla, they showed us the wonders of Churiana, the food.
Churiana. This is some great food. So you have a plate of chips, the traditional one, because you can get lots of different types, but the traditional one is you have a plate of chips and then you have onions drizzled over the top with beef, steak pieces, and then an egg on top. And this food is so good. I mean, it's not going to be the healthiest thing. It's egg, chips and meat and onions, but it's really good.
It's just good like snack food at a bar if you got a beer, because Ben and Camilla took us to some good beer places as well. It's really good bar food, but then I think a couple of days later, Ben took us to, was it Churiana Palace or something, or the House of Churiana, which just does lots of different varieties. So yeah, chips, we had barbecue chicken, melted cheese and onions on it, and you can have almost anything. So yeah, it's not the healthiest food, not the best food for you, but proper good like comfort bar food, and it's very popular over there.
Yeah, and I would recommend going to a place with some friends because it's a sharing platter. You don't eat it by yourself. I think normally you can get it for two people. It's very rare you can get it for one, I think. Obviously you can always ask, but on the menu it's always set for two people, and it's really nice just, you know, sit there with a beer or a drink outside a restaurant in the fresh air with your friends eating a churiana, and it's really good.
Very good. Now, we'll talk about our walking tour we did in Santiago. Obviously, we did a walking tour. But first, I just remembered the subway, the metro, or underground, as we call it in England. It's quite fun in Santiago. Now, this does happen in most South American and I'm sure countries around the world. But there's lots of, like, people busking, like doing entertainment stuff, like either performances, yeah, on the metro. And when we were told this is going to happen, I think a part of us was thinking, oh god, like I just want to travel in peace. But actually, they were really good. There was one guy in particular who was rapping, and I didn't join in rapping with him, but I took a video, and he's in the video, and he's rapping, and I'm like dancing away. Now I didn't know later. Some of our Spanish friends translated what he was saying. He was basically saying, he was rapping like, this video's going to cost you like big money, man. And at the time I'm nodding along thinking like, yeah, I look so cool. This is great. But that was just one example that the underground was actually quite fun. And you only have to tip these people a little bit. But if you embrace it, it can be quite a fun journey actually.
Yeah, and you can buy anything on the metro over there as well. You know, like they
phone
don't
charger, anything.
They don't just sell you water or drinks or food. They'll come around with the latest gadget. It's like QVC on the metro. That's a TV shopping channel in England if you didn't know. And it's really cool actually, and super cheap to travel on the metro as well.
It's the way to get around for sure. It's quite easy as well, cheap. Yeah, mate, the way to go. Yeah,
and it's definitely cheap because this is quite an expensive country specifically for South America. But we'll go into cost in a bit or throughout as well. But yeah, we did find it quite an expensive country. You know, sometimes the price of something would match the price in England. It was really that strong.
Yeah, seriously. Food, drink. Yeah, you could pay like £4 or £5 for a beer, same as in England. And food. It was all similar prices to England and Chile. So if you go in, just be aware of that.
But then sometimes it would revert back to South America prices like the metro. Because, I mean, our underground system in England isn't crazy expensive, but it's more expensive than other places.
For sure, ain't cheap.
But yeah, just check prices before you go if this is something you're looking at doing.
So we'll talk about the walking tour we did because we spoke to our guide. Now, the company are called Spicy Chili, which as soon as I saw that on Google, I thought we're going with that because that's a brilliant name. We like a good name. So we asked Jose about the Mapuche people and their relationship with the Chilean government. The Mapuche people being the largest community of natives in Chile. So we wanted to talk about them on the show. We wanted to give them some airtime, make you all aware of who they are. So like I said, we asked Jose about their relationship with the Chilean government.
So Mapuche people, the name means people from earth, okay? They believe in the earth, in the sacred earth, in the Pachamama, in the Mother Earth. So the actual relationship with the government depends on that, no? They usually, it's like a warrior tribe, so they defend their sacred places, their sacred lands, and the government is always fighting back for that, no? So right now the relationship in the south of Chile, in the region of Araucanía, is not in the best condition.
How about the relationship between them and the majority of the Chilean population? I guess the Chileans who are more Hispanic, really. What's the relationship like between those two groups of people?
A lot of people that have mixed blood with Mapuche people, they don't feel really Mapuches. So there's a misconception in the people that they believe that Mapuches are like lazy people, that don't work that much, that they mostly want things for free. So yeah, the Chilean population don't have a really good opinion on Mapuches, but at the end of the day, most of Chilean people, we are like mixed blood between Mapuches and Spanish people.
And so what sort of life do they have, the Mapuche people? Are they living in houses the same as you and I would? Do they have electricity? Do they have running water?
There is some communities integrated in the actual society, okay? You have a couple of Mapuche persons that lives in Santiago, in other regions in Chile. But the biggest number of Mapuches is in the south of Chile, in the region of Araucanía. Over there they have their autonomous communities.
Yeah, so they would say they are not Chilean. They don't feel Chilean.
Yeah, probably they're not feel Chilean at all.
And so, is it quite easy to spot if a Mapuche person comes towards you? How do they look? Do they look really different? Like, can you spot them really easily?
Physically, they look a bit different from the normal Chilean. Normal Chilean is a bit more white, to call it in a way. Mapuches are a bit more similar to what a Bolivian or a Peruvian will look. A bit shorter, brown skin, more hard faces, to call it in a way. And a lot of Mapuche people are always proud about their cultural things, so they sometimes wear accessories that represent that.
So can you tell us what are some of your best recommendations for people to do when they're in Santiago?
In Santiago, actually, you have a lot to do, depending what you want. No, if you want to go shopping, you have the biggest mall in South America. If you want to go and do bicycle, you have hills everywhere. You have places to do camping. You have places to a lot of museums inside the city. And the good thing about Santiago is everything is kind of close. The metro gets you everywhere. So really nice to move around Santiago, and you can see actually a bit of everything. In wintertime, you have the snow. We are just 1 hour away from the beach, so everything is kind of close and kind of far, but it's nice. We get used to it.
But you're 1 hour away from the mountains where you can ski as well, right?
Yeah. The snow season starts at the end of May until September, and a lot of people actually came to Santiago just to go up on the skiing resort.
And can you tell us about the name of the company you work for and how people can find you and what you do?
Okay, so Spicy Chile. In Instagram you can find us as spicychile.cl. Okay. We mostly try to show the people what is about downtown, where to go, orientate you, give you a side of actuality, how the society comports to works around, no? So yes, it's an introduction to the main things to see in downtown, at the same time how Chile works and everything around here.
Thanks to Jose there for talking to us and for having the best free walking tour name in the world.
Agreed.
Yeah, so like we discussed in the interview, if you're there at the right time, then you can also ski in Chile, which I would have loved to have done, but we just weren't there at the right time.
Exactly. But talking about the surrounding mountains, this is where Chile is, I think, one of the best countries in the world for like the nature, for wilderness, what it can offer all over north and south, which we will go into more details. But yeah, near Santiago, you do have the mountains right nearby. And while we're talking about it, actually, towards the end of our stay in Santiago, we hired a car, which we drove to Valparaiso, which we'll talk about soon. But we also drove into the mountains to a place called El Yeso, which is like a dam and the lake in the mountains. Like, whoa, Google it, look at the pictures. This place was amazing.
Yeah, that's El Yeso, and Yeso is Yeso. It's absolutely stunning. It's one of those places that looks photoshopped, and you can't believe it's real because the water's just such like ice blue colour. It looks incredible. It really does.
Yeah, amazing.
And also, while we're talking about mountains, our journey into Chile from Argentina, Mendoza, was the best bus journey we've ever done. I think it was like 7-8 hours. And we crossed into the Andes Mountains, and it was honestly the most beautiful journey. It's one we were told before we left that it would be amazing, so we didn't download anything on Netflix and we didn't have any podcasts. We just sat there and looked out the window, and it was stunning.
It was spectacular. That was the one time where even if the flight was cheaper, I would have said, no, we're getting the bus.
Yeah, definitely. So let's move on to Ben and Camilla, who we were talking about earlier with language lessons. Now, let's talk about our Pisco party. So Pisco is the national drink, and they have a bit of a feud with Bolivia.
Peru? Because Pisco's in Peru.
Oh, yeah, Pisco's in Peru, yeah. Sorry, with Peru on who makes the best Pisco. I believe that it started in Peru, but they say that Chileans made it better.
Yes, that's the argument. They admit it was originally from Peru, but yeah, like you said. Pisco party. So what does that involve? It involves drinking lots of Pisco. So
yeah.
Pisco is like a spirit or a liqueur, but you have it with Coke, don't you?
Yeah, I was just about to say it's a liqueur that actually was made from grapes, so it's similar to wine, but it doesn't taste like wine at all. Yeah, you can have a Pisco sour, which is a small sized drink, and I know they mix egg white into it, which I didn't know before I tried it because I probably wouldn't have tried it.
Yeah, I saw the guy make it, but I didn't tell you because it's like raw egg in there.
But I actually really liked it, and it tastes like a really sour caipirinha from Brazil, I think. I really liked it. I know it's taught me that I really like sour flavour. But then you can also do a Pisco Cola, which is like a bit of Pisco and a bit of cola. It depends.
Wow. Really
detailed description there. But yeah, it depends how much you want of each quantity, really, because you can have like no Coke and you can have like no Pisco. That's
great. Wow. Don't quit your day job, Amy. Describing drinks.
I don't have a day job because I'm a traveller.
Whoa, that's right. But yeah, we had a great time, Ben and Camilla. Such good hosts. So Ben showed us around the city. Camilla, she was working a lot. She's a doctor, actually. So she works... At one point, she worked...
intelligent.
At one point, she worked a 24-hour shift. Is that even legal? Like, wow.
Yeah.
And Ben doesn't do anything, so he was free to show us around the city. No, I'm joking.
He's an English teacher.
Yeah, he teaches English. But great host. Thank you guys, if you're listening, so much for having us.
We didn't describe the Pisco party. Anyway, it's just we're all four of us round the table drinking Pisco, and it was brilliant. We were awake till like 6 in the morning in their house. But I think at 5:30 we're all up dancing. But
we played a game called Kill the Mood, where the idea is you put a song on, like your phone, and then the person to your right puts another song on which is completely different to kill the mood. But the funny thing was Kill
the vibe, I think it was.
Kill the vibe. But the funny thing is we're going for like crowd pleasers, classics. And Camilla, bless her, she was trying to bring some culture to the group. She was like, this is a song. This is a song
about our revolution here in Chile.
This is a song about the dictatorship and about thousands that were murdered. It's very important. So we felt like we couldn't change it. And then Ben's like, for God's sake, Amy, please kill the vibe. Kill the vibe.
Just do it. Yeah, but she won that game because she killed the vibe every single time.
Fucking hell, did she? No, brilliant. We loved hanging out with you guys. Thank you so much. And we're now going to hear from them because we wanted to ask Camilla if she thought that Chile is a good place to live. Does she think it's the best place in South America?
I'm not sure if it's the best place, but it's a very good one, I think. Even though it's expensive, you can have a good life if you have a good job. It's not the best place for everyone, but a lot of immigrants come here and they're very happy, others they're not, but a lot of immigrants come here. That's the thing. Maybe, of course, they have their own crises in their countries, but I think it's like a good place for them to come.
Yeah, they come here for a reason.
So obviously at the moment you've got a lot of Venezuelans coming over here, so how has that impacted Chile, do you think?
Well, of course it impacts Chile because it's a completely different culture. They're all louder. But I don't know, I think it's better for the country to be multicultural, even though a lot of people don't like immigrants. I think that happens everywhere, probably.
Do you think Chile is a man's world and a conservative country?
It's definitely a conservative country. Even we're not a Catholic country. It's not in the constitution, but Catholic Church runs a lot of stuff here. Like they forbid a lot of stuff, like sexual education, the use of preservatives. It's even hard to make an HIV campaign because of that. They still have a lot of power, and some of the Catholic Church branches, they have a lot of money. So I think they do run the country.
So when we was talking yesterday, you was talking about with condoms that they wanted to put them in bars freely so that people, when they're having a good night and they've got a bit lucky, they can leave with a condom. But you were saying that wasn't allowed.
No, it's not allowed in Chile. Even though in Argentina, it's illegal not to have one in a bar.
Wow.
And if they don't have it, they have to like a sign said like, if we don't have any more condoms left, like go to the bar and ask for one. Like,
wow.
Yeah, it's illegal not to have one. Here is expensive, and there are not places to get it. Like, so it's not that easy to get one if you're on a night out.
Before we came to Chile, we did a little bit of research and we saw that it's actually it's very low when it comes to divorce rates, which you think, okay, that's nice. People stay married for longer, but I guess it's probably because it's not socially acceptable to get divorced. Do you think?
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I haven't been in that position. But, yeah, it's not accepted. And also, maybe because in Chile it's all about success. You have to be successful. So a divorce is like failing unless you have another one.
Then you're doubly successful. Yeah.
Yes, but you will complain about the money you had to pay to your ex-wife and everything, of course. But it gives you more power because you can have like different wives and ex-wives, so you're like very rich because you have to maintain a lot of people.
Where are some of your favourite places in Chile?
Valparaiso, Elquis Valley, Valdivia, and I would say Chiloé.
So what's there? Chiloé? What can you do there?
Chiloé is a big island surrounded by small islands, and it's different, completely different from Chile, because it's people from an island. And the landscape is amazing. And I feel like it doesn't have some bad habits from the continent.
So Ben, I'm going to bring you in now because you both lived on this island, didn't you? For 6 months?
Yeah, we lived there for 6 months whilst Camilla worked there as a doctor.
And so I remember you telling me that, what was it, like 80% of the people that are there are indigenous, is that right?
Yeah, so basically all of the people on the island were natives, apart from the doctors that worked there and me.
What was that like, being like the only English guy on the island?
Well, I definitely stood out. And they even gave me a name whilst I was there, because occasionally I would go running and I used to wear like a bright yellow tank top and bright blue shorts. And also being English, I'm a lot taller than all of the natives. They're all probably 5 foot tall and I'm about 6 foot. So I definitely stood out when I was running through the town. And eventually they gave me the name the Running Ringo.
Nice.
Yeah, so as you said, like, you're an English guy, you live in Chile. So what do you like about Chile, and what maybe don't you like about Chile?
Oh, so one thing I like a lot about Chile is the different fruit and vegetables you can get here. There's a good variety in the different fresh produce you can get, and it's always a lot fresher than back home in England because it's not imported. Another thing I like is the weather. It's good weather most of the year, and when you go, and you can go all to different places in Chile. So the south is really beautiful because it's really green and you have the mountains and the rivers. And then you can go to the north where it's a bit more arid, it's like a desert. But it's again a different landscape, which is new, it's different, and it's just good for exploring all the different kinds of things. Something I don't like is the postal service.
And why is that?
Because it's basically non-existent. If you want to get something posted here, it takes at least 2 months.
Whoa.
Whereas in England, it takes, a couple days. So that's probably the thing I miss the most, is the postal service.
I think that's the most original answer I've ever heard to what do you miss back from home.
The postal service.
Oh, Ben. But Ben said that one of the things he really likes about Chile is the fresh produce that you get there. And I just want to say shout out to Ben because he is an incredible chef.
Yeah.
And he's never trained or anything, but they grow their own fruit and vegetables and chilies and things in their little garden. And he's really good at cooking. And we tried to convince him that he needs to work in a kitchen, but he doesn't want to.
No, basically he says, I enjoy it, but if I do it as a job, I won't enjoy it anymore. But yeah, he knows what he's doing in the kitchen. He cooked us some very good meals when we were there. So
Yeah.
you guys, thanks so much for hosting us. You were brilliant.
Yes. And I just want to say just kind of the relation between Chile and the rest of South America. So to kind of gauge how everybody thinks. So it's kind of like everyone's against Chile.
Yeah, I think even Chileans, they see it that way. Yeah, us against all of the rest, yeah.
Yeah, I think just because of the past, there's been some wars and just kind of the general attitude, I think, on both sides, they just kind of agree that they don't like each other.
Well, even the geography, they're almost a bit isolated because of the Andes Mountains, cuts them off from the rest of South America. So I think they think they're a bit different from the rest of South America.
Yeah, and I would say the kind of general attitude, I felt like I was kind of back home again. They're a bit more English. And I think at first they may seem a little bit cold. Simple things like being on a train, especially in England, like you don't look at people, you don't say hello, good morning and talk. You sit by yourself and, ignore everyone and pretend they don't exist.
That's the way it should be.
But I felt like it was all pretty similar in Chile as well. But then if you were trying to buy something in a shop, they wouldn't always be that talkative, where in the rest of South America, everybody's very open. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, bon dia, buenos dias.
Yeah, bom dia, tudo bom, tudo bem. So they were just a bit different. But I did find once you then started to have a longer conversation with them, they were really warm, really receptive, and really kind-hearted people, especially Camilla and her family. They just welcomed us in. They didn't know who we were. And then suddenly we were around there for dinner and it was lovely. And everybody was just very welcoming.
Very well said. Move on to Valparaiso.
Yeah, so before going there and after, we've heard a lot of feedback about this place. Everybody loves it. It's a town basically that's just been graffitied, but not in a horrible way, in a really great, colourful, artistic way. There's so many, every wall that you look at, there's a mural. It is stunning.
Yeah, and you've got the city kind of at sea level, and it's surrounded by hills, and the city spreads to the hills. There are some favelas and shanty towns, and it kind of reminded us a bit of Rio, how Rio looks. Again, very artistic, looks beautiful, and everywhere you look, amazing. But you have to look where you're walking, look at the floor, because there is dog shit everywhere.
That's actually really true.
And like, you're walking around looking at the art, but like I said, you got to watch where you're going. So that was a bit of a downer. Apart from all the art, like, which was amazing, I didn't really like the place as much as I thought I would. I thought, take all this art away, and I don't think it would be that much of a nice place. Are you with me?
Yeah, I do kind of agree. But also, before I forget, there is a second reason why you should look down, because what I thought this was really cool and quirky, like kind of mixing the art in with the local culture. We kept seeing graffiti on the pavement, and they were ants, like spray painted little ants. And I kept saying, like, why are there so many ants? Why are there so many ants? Anyway, it just so happened that we were walking in the direction. So whichever way the ant was facing, you needed to walk in that direction. And there was a place called La Hormiga, which means the ant. And so in Spanish, if you're an ant, that means you're somebody who likes a lot of sweet food. You know, you've got a sweet tooth. But I thought that was really clever that they were using graffiti to direct people to their shop. And then we started to notice other ones. So there was like a fish to take you to like the fish market and things like that. And I thought that was really cool.
Clever.
So that's the second reason to look down. But yeah, Nick, I do agree with you. You take that graffiti away, I'm not sure what the city offers. It wasn't the cleanest. I think Santiago was very clean, except for all the like smog and pollution in the air. But the actual place was clean. But here it seemed a bit...
Yeah, it seemed a bit rough.
Dirty and rough, yeah.
And I thought some areas, maybe I'm completely wrong here, but I thought some areas seemed quite dangerous. I wouldn't want to hang around on my own for too long in some of the places there.
Yeah, because it's actually not often that I feel unsafe in any of South America, to be honest. Like, we travelled Brazil for a total of 4 months, and I actually never felt unsafe at one point. I would always walk by myself, that's fine. But here I did have like a tinge kind of telling me, like, stay close to you and always have my eyes and wits about me. And actually later on in our Chile trip, we met a German girl who had her phone stolen in Valparaiso. And I don't want to make that a thing, you know, oh my God, watch out there, because you should always be watching out for your stuff, whether you're at home, in your hometown or in a foreign town, whatever. You need to be looking after your stuff. And it was really unfortunate what happened to her, because she was being safe with her phone. She pulled it out to look at her map to see which way to go, and a guy on a bike drove past and snatched it out of her hand. So, you know, if you can ever clasp, with one of our Brazilian friends has made a really clever gadget where he clasps his phone with a tag that's attached to his clothes, so even if someone does snatch it out of his hand, they can't take it because it's attached to him. So yeah, you've just always got to be safe and aware when you're traveling.
Yeah, anywhere in the world. But yeah, we just got that feeling about Valparaiso, and you have to get used to walking up a lot of hills. But that's part of the charm of it, I guess. But all the art and the graffiti there, it is amazing. It's worth going, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, definitely make sure that you get over there.
Yeah, for sure. But I think we have to move on, because we have still got so much coming up on the show. We are just give on this show. So we're going to start with our game. Now, our game coming up is great. It's good fun. I really enjoyed doing it, but we recorded it at a separate location at a separate time with our friend Leo.
Can I explain what happened?
Yeah, go on then.
Well, I'll explain what didn't happen. Okay, we did not walk to Machu Picchu with our equipment on our back. We did not do that, did we?
We did.
And then we didn't record a whole game in our room with our Brazilian friend Leo. And it recorded, right?
It recorded, but not through our nice microphones. We never even, we had it all plugged in. We never even, I don't even know how it worked. We never even turned the mics on, so it all recorded through the laptop. So it sounds a bit tinny and a bit amateur-y. And I know you guys are used to top standards on this show, but it's fine. You can still hear it. We just thought we'd be honest. We didn't use our mics, so that's why we sound a bit shit. But here we go. I guess we should play the game.
So we are going to go into our game, Chilli Chile Chilli, which means we need to bring in our guest for this month, the first episode of Series 4. Can you explain who you are?
Hey guys, I'm Aurelio. I was hosting these guys in my city, Recife, in Brazil. And I'm so glad to be here, guys. Thank you to invite me.
Aurelio. So yeah, we've actually been doing a bit of travelling with, well, as we call him, Leo. So it's just been luck that we've been doing a similar route around South America after we stayed with you in Brazil. So yeah, we were able to travel Chile together, a bit of Bolivia, and now as we record this, we are in Peru.
We're actually sat really close to Machu Picchu at the moment.
Yeah, Machu Picchu's tomorrow. This is a big deal.
There we go. So, Now we know who you are. It's now time for the game. Are you boys ready?
Yes.
Definitely, yeah.
Cool. Okay. Now the way this is going to work. So Chilli, Chilli, Chilli. We have a quiz on the way, and we have 3 different subjects, all around the subject of chili. So we have Chile the country, we have Chili the food, the spicy chilies, and Red Hot Chili Peppers, the band. Are they from England?
No, man, they're from California.
Oh yeah. I mean, I should know that. I'm the quiz master. Okay, so they're the 3 subjects, and we have 12 questions, and we're going to see who knows more about every type of chili there is in the world. Okay? Now we need you to have some buzzers because it's whoever answers first. So, Leo, tell us about your buzzer. What does it mean?
Weon is a slang they use in Chile for everything. You know, to sweat, also to say like, oh, you're a good friend, you're my weon, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And Nick, what's your buzzer?
My buzzer is Juliana, is that right? Juliana, which was the food that we were obsessed with in Chile.
Okay. Right, so for the loser, they have to do something which will not be very nice. It won't be pleasant at all. So we have a chili sitting on the table, and one of you boys, whoever loses, has to take a bite. Now, let's decide now. How much of that chili do you need to eat?
Yeah, maybe just this part here, like the tip.
Yeah,
Okay.
like a
This
little
one's
corner.
too spicy, yeah.
So you only want to eat the tip.
Oh,
Doesn't count if you just put the tip in.
Okay, so there's some extra rules here. So if you buzz and then you get the question wrong, you lose a point.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
But then the other person then has to answer the question. Okay, this might get a bit confusing.
But if the other person then gets it wrong, they don't lose a point.
No, because
Yeah.
they didn't buzz.
It's to prevent you buzzing too prematurely.
There you go. So you're going to eat the tip, don't buzz prematurely, okay? Okay, boys, are you ready? The first subject is chili, as in the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
How long will I slide?
Question number 1. In 1986, the Red Hot Chili Peppers were given $5,000 to make their 3rd album, but they spent $2,000 of it on what? So A, trashed hotel rooms, B, lawyers, or C, drugs.
Juliana,
Okay, Nick?
I'm going to go drugs.
Okay, Nick, you are correct.
Oh, nah.
Okay, so as it stands, Leo, you're going to be eating that chili, okay? You need to bring it back.
Early days.
Question number 2. Finish the name of the Red Hot Chili Peppers' first big album in 1991. Blood, sugar, sex, and what?
I'm terrible at this game.
Oh, there's no buzzers.
But if I buzz and get it wrong now, I'm going to lose a point.
Someone needs to answer. Can we have
Juliana,
some... Oh, okay, Nick.
is the answer drugs again?
That is incorrect.
Oh, I thought I had it then.
And California.
That's a good guess, but it's also incorrect. So, Nick, you actually lose a point there.
So we're back to 0-0.
But the answer is magic.
No, I wouldn't have got that.
Nah, me neither.
Okay, question number 3. In 1989, Kiedis was arrested for what after playing a show in Virginia? You have 3 options here. Indecent exposure and sexual battery, possession of Class A drugs, or suspected murder.
We're on second option.
The second option. So you
With
think
drugs again.
Drugs again.
you think possession of Class A drugs?
Yep.
Leo,
Oh no.
that's incorrect.
Yes! Okay, well, I can come in now and I can't lose really, but I think I was going to say drugs again for the 3rd time in a row, but I'm now going to go for the first one. Was it assault and battery?
Indecent exposure and sexual battery.
Yes.
That one's correct.
Yes!
Oh, so Leo is now at minus one.
It's one.
Yeah, so yeah, I forgot about that. -1, Leo.
It's like a two points.
Now this is question number 4, so it's the last of this category. Okay. The whole band made an appearance on which famous animated TV show to play Give It Away in their underwear?
We're on
Yes?
Simpsons.
Yes!
Whoa!
Correct! Well done!
So does that mean he's now back to 0? Yeah, it
He's
does,
back to
doesn't it?
0, yeah. So what?
Good
At the
answer.
end of the first category, what points are we at?
Okay, I am winning 1-0.
Okay, right. The next category is chili as in the food. Okay, so Leo, you need to bring this one back.
Yeah, I need. I love it. I love chili.
Okay, so question number 5 in the second category. What part of a chili is the spiciest part? A, the placenta. B, the seeds themselves. Or C, the outer skin.
Wait on.
Oh, okay.
The seeds.
That is incorrect.
Yes! That's what I was also going to say, so I'm so glad you got that wrong.
Okay,
So-
Nick, you do have the chance to answer.
So first of all, does that mean Leo is now back to -1?
Yes.
Okay. So
Seems so nasty.
you said skin or placenta, the other options. I didn't know a chili had a placenta, but I'm going to go with placenta.
That's correct.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Okay,
So happy.
let me educate you here. So the placenta is actually the flesh that's around the seeds.
Oh yeah.
Because that's the highest concentration of capsaicin? I think that's how you say it. These components of the pepper irritate the skin and cause your mouth to feel that distinct burning pain.
Wow.
Okay, question number 6, and this is still on chili food. What is the spiciest pepper known to man? Again, you have 3 options, so before you jump in.
I'm waiting.
Answer number A, the Carolina Reaper. B, the Death of Susan. Or C, the Gabriella's Hell.
I'll name a girl's name.
I'll go with it. Juliana,
Yes,
the first one, the Reaper.
the Carolina Reaper.
Yes. The Catalina wine mixer. Yes, that one.
Nicholas Thompson. That's correct.
Oh wow! I'm up to.
You're so lucky, man.
I'm up to 3 points. So
Okay,
no, I'm minus
okay.
1. Is it
Yeah,
even
minus
mathematically possible?
Okay, so just to give you a little bit of background on that. So the Carolina Reaper can get up to 2.2 million SHUs, and that's the way they kind of,
Major.
yeah, they measure it. It's on the Richter scale of,
Is that the Schofields?
it's Scoville, I think, but yeah,
okay.
sounds like Schofield, like our presenter in England. Philip Schofield is an absolute legend. Okay, next question. There's a type of pepper called shishitu. The unusual pepper is usually about as mild as a bell pepper, except for the rare case when it's not. In which country do they play chili roulette with these chilies, as 1 out of every 10 of these is pretty spicy? And you have some options here. A, Mexico. B, South Korea. Or C, Japan.
Can you repeat the name of the chili?
Shishitu.
Juliana.
Okay, Nixon.
I might know what you're gonna answer.
See, it's definitely one of the Asian ones because I think you would have thrown Mexico in the mix just because we would have thought chilies come from Mexico.
Okay, you're kind of reading me a little bit here. Okay.
Shishitu. Well, at first I thought South Korea, but I think that sounds more Japanese, so I'm going Japan.
Okay. That is correct.
Yeah, I would answer the same thing. Yeah. Okay,
that
You
might
need to
be
be
game
quicker with
over
your
now.
buzzer.
I know, but like, I know.
4 to
I'm going to take the
me.
risk, but now I have to take the risk anyway.
4 to
Doesn't
me,
matter.
-1 to Leo.
Okay, so this is the last question on the chili
Oh,
food.
damn.
Okay? So this is a true or false question.
Right.
Okay. Chilies have more vitamin C than an orange.
Wait on.
Ooh, okay, Leo's in there fast.
True.
So you think it's true?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Leo.
Oh no. You guys must look at eyes right now.
Okay. It's correct.
Oh! Thanks God. 0.
Back to 0. Yeah, your only hope is if I get a few wrong now, isn't it? Okay.
Okay,
Back to
so
0.
just a bit of information on that. Chili peppers have about 107 milligrams of the good stuff, vitamin C, compared to an orange, which has 69 milligrams.
Wow, did not know that.
There you go. So next time you feel that you're getting a cold or something, eat a chili. We're on the last category now. This is Chile the country, okay? Right, next question. The name of Chile derives from the indigenous Mapuche word Chile, which means what? A, where land never stops. B, where land is sacred. Or C, where the land ends.
Wait on.
Leo?
First option. I'm take the risk.
Okay, you think A, where land never stops.
No, it stops now. Whatever. Yeah, I have to say yes right now. Like
Leo, it's incorrect.
Oh, Leo, -1. I think I know that. I think it's land that never ends.
Yeah, that's correct. How did you know that?
I don't know. Well, I think in Chile we heard it somewhere.
Oh,
But
okay.
so it's mathematically impossible, but we can play for pride now. See if you can get a couple correct. So it's I've got 4, Leo's on -1.
Okay.
Thank you, Simpsons.
Okay, next question. I'm rooting for Leo at this point. Okay. Can you name the official and unusual name for the Chilean soccer team? And you have no options here. You just have to know it.
A Chilean football team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Chilean.
Yes?
The Chili Willies.
No.
I'm down to 3.
He's trying to help you out there. He's trying to lose a point. What a gentleman.
Oh, come on, don't do it. I don't like it. Rojos. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I don't think anyone could ever guess this name. So it's the O'Higgins, a patriot of Chilean rule.
Nah, come on. Come on.
Well, you're both into football. I thought you might know it.
Yeah, true.
Okay, you have 2 questions left.
Oh, did you know, by the way, we spoke about this before, but I think it's hilarious. The New Zealand badminton team used to be nicknamed the Black Cocks. but then it was banned.
That's pretty funny though. I love that country.
Okay, so name Chile's national drink.
Juliana.
Oh, Nick got in there.
I know.
Pisco.
That's correct. It's
Yeah.
Pisco.
Back up to 4, baby.
Come on, Leo. I thought you'd get the drink one.
Sorry.
Okay, last question.
Okay, at least 0 though.
Come on, Leo. You need
Yeah.
to get this one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a true or false one. Okay.
It's gonna be easy. I hope.
The first woman president was from Chile.
Wait on. False.
You think it's false?
Yeah.
Okay. It's actually correct. It's actually true. Yeah. It was Michelle Bachelet.
Oh yeah, I didn't know she was
Geria?
the first one.
She was elected in January 2006.
Wow, I didn't know she was the first one.
Wow, so it's finished. Me 4, Leo
Minus.
-2.
This game is so nasty. I didn't like it.
So,
You know what that means?
yeah, do you know what that means, Leo? You need to eat
I
this
know.
chili.
I like chili though.
Okay, you have to do your forfeit.
Okay.
Big bite, please.
Okay, calm down.
That noise.
Is it spicy?
Yeah, is it?
A little bit.
Oh, I can smell it.
I cannot feel my mouth.
It smells spicy.
It's getting a little warm here. It's a good one though. Can use tomorrow for lunch.
So you think it's okay? It's not the worst one you've had.
It's not the worst one I had, but still like really spicy though. Whoa.
It's hot.
Yeah, it's that one that I was coughing for 2 days.
Is it safe to say that you might be on the toilet tonight?
I'm already on the toilet. So it's gonna be like a little worse.
We're sharing the same bathroom tonight.
Sorry for you guys. Your fault.
But well done, Leo. Good sport. And we know that you do like your chilies anyway, but still, eating chili on its own is quite disgusting. But yeah, you have been a very good sport, Leo. Thanks for playing along with us. So before we move on with the show and before we say goodbye to you, is there anything you want to say to the listeners about the experience that you had in Chile? What do you think of the country? What did you see? What did you do?
Oh yeah, like San Pedro and northern Chile was just amazing. Atacama is breathtaking. Anywhere you look at, it's just like stunning and amazing. And I really love the experience though because I couldn't see such a thing. Like I travel a lot as you guys do, and was the first time I seen like some sort of stuff like the geysers. I know there's lots of geysers everywhere, but like was very unique too. I really love it, and it was a great time with you guys. And thank you for inviting me. And actually, I have a challenge for you.
Oh yeah, you told us about this earlier.
Yeah,
Well, we don't
so-
know what it is, but yeah.
Well, like you always talk about like how you love Brazil and everything, and I appreciate it. And I totally understand it because I have a tremendous bond with England. Was the first time I stepped abroad Brazil. I had a really life-changing experience, and I really enjoyed that place. Oh, it's so warm. Oh,
Is the chili getting to you?
yeah. So my challenge is really simple though. Like you're going to 2 major countries in Latin America, sorry, Mexico and Colombia. And if you guys is still like loving Brazil and say that is your favorite country ever, I'm gonna pay all you can drink beverage, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, for the 4 days of receiving only the carnival for you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but the thing is, people might think, all right, like he's trying to make you guys like Brazil more or something like that. But actually, you know my opinion. I love to criticize Brazil, Brazilian society, Brazilian people and everything. So it's not the point. And also for you guys, you know that my favorite country in South America is Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is, I'm going to follow you, of course, as I do, like watching all the videos. And it's really hard for you to hide your excitement about like Mexico and Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be watching you. And if it's still Brazil, your favorite country, okay, I can come. I have like a free accommodation, of course, in my place. And you're going to have like all the free beverage and alcohol drinks you want to.
That's a pretty good challenge.
Yeah.
Very good. So yeah, where you're from in Brazil, yeah, Recife, it's close to a place called Olinda, and we will be talking about that on our next Brazil episode, because obviously we visited, and people will hear from you again, because you'll be talking about your hometown. But your part of Brazil is quite famous with Brazilians, with locals, for Carnival. So yeah, you're saying that if Brazil is still our favourite country after Colombia and Mexico, we have to come back to Brazil, Carnival in your hometown, and you'll pay for all the drinks.
All me.
Damn.
There we go. That was Chilli Chile Chilli. And Nick, you won once again. It's getting boring now. And we have a challenge for once we go to Colombia.
It's a pretty good challenge. It's a win-win. Win-win? It's a win-win for us, really, isn't it? We either enjoy Colombia or we don't, and then we have free drinks in Brazil.
I mean, I think we should just enjoy Colombia, lie, and then get free drinks in Brazil.
That's the plan. But yeah, that was fine. And even with the sound issues, I thought, yeah, the game was fine. It was good. So thank you, Leo. Yeah, you were a very good sport. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that.
There we go. Right, let's move on to our third destination in Chile, Antofagasta, which, fun fact, hasn't always been Chile. It used to be Bolivia.
Ooh, was it taken illegally?
Yes, it was.
The British helped Chile.
Oh, was it the British fault again? Yes, it was.
Standard. Fucking hell. We ruin everything around the world. But anyway, let's not get too involved in that. But yes, we were in Antofagasta and we flew from Santiago because it's a bloody long way. And there are cheap internal flights in Chile and Argentina, which I was well impressed by. But the flight, let's tell the short version of this flight, shall we? The situation, because we missed our flight.
Yeah, okay, but also just the bus journey, if we did do it, was 18 hours. So yeah, we looked at flights and it was a lot cheaper, like you said. So yeah, we flew from Santiago. We were going to fly to a place called Calama, which is like a 3-hour bus journey from Antofagasta. So it's kind of further up north of the country. And we got to the airport. We checked in, gave in our bags. We went through security. We had some food because, we had time.
We were early.
We got to the gate and we kept watching the screen. I thought I'll pull out my laptop. I'll do a bit of editing while we wait. And, our flight's missed. Well, where's our flight gone? It's not on the screen anymore. Let's go talk to the staff. The staff tell us to carry on waiting because they've temporarily taken it off the screen. And then we thought, that's not right. So we walked around the airport, found our bags in excess baggage and asked, why are our bags here? Why are they not on the plane?
Where's our flight?
And we said, where's our flight? And the guy checked his little computer and he told us that the flight had left without us, even though we were standing at the gate.
He said, oh no, it changed. We put an announcement out.
Oh, because it was originally delayed.
It was delayed, but then it changed gate, but they didn't say it on the screen. We were told, oh no, the screens at this airport don't work. All right? They said, but we did put an announcement out, and I know Amy speaks Spanish, and I know we're in a Spanish-speaking country, but obviously the announcement was in Spanish. We didn't cotton on, we didn't hear it. We were just looking at the screen. I just spat on my leg. That's disgusting. Big bit of gauze just came out of my mouth. We were looking at the screen the whole time, and suddenly it just disappeared. But we'd missed it by a few hours. It had already left. So then we booked a different flight with a real airline with LATAM, even though it was more expensive, and we flew direct to Antofagasta. Obviously, we're not happy about that. We're trying to get a refund because there was no information. They didn't tell us.
And also, when I asked the air host at the desk, I said, why did you not tell us on the microphones? Why did you not call our names? That would have pricked up our ears. And she said, yes, we have an obligation to call out our announcements in 2 languages. And I was like, Yeah, and you did it in one, so you're not fulfilling your obligation there, are you? So, you know, I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I would have heard my own name. You could have called, but I really think something else happened because they immediately looked really guilty. And then we didn't even try for a refund. They contacted us and said, oh, we've already put through a refund. When does that ever happen with a flight company?
We haven't had yet. So word of warning to people, if you go to Santiago Airport, the screens don't work. But like Amy said, I think that's bollocks. I think something else happened.
Can we just name drop the company?
Yeah, and they are Flight Smart. Not too smart. No, Jet Smart. Jet Smart.
JetSmart. So just be wary when you go with them, because when we was walking around the airport trying to find out information about our flight, when we asked general staff, they just looked a bit annoyed, just kind of like they're used to getting complaints about this company. So just beware.
Yeah, not good. Anyway, Antofagasta in the north of Chile in the Atacama Desert. So Antofagasta. Why did we go to Antofagasta? We went to Antofagasta for this.
You're about to experience one of the world's most remarkable places for astronomy, science, and technology. Far from any city and above the clouds, in one of the driest places on Earth.
Yeah, so this was from my bucket list, which if you haven't heard any of the other episodes where I talk about this all the time.
They have.
I have a bucket list of 119 items, and I've ticked off 63 of them, and this being one of them, to go to the VLTs in the Atacama Desert. The VLTs are the very large telescopes. So I'm really geeky about space. I love it. I love telescopes. I love nebulas. I love stars
astronomy.
And suns.
It's amazing. It's very, very interesting. So I was well up for going as well. And I couldn't believe you found online every Saturday they do a tour for free.
Absolutely free, guys. Honestly, it's insane. There's a slight catch, okay? You have to get yourself there. And it's like 2 hours away from any city in the middle of the desert. So we had a bit of an issue with like how to get there. There's no public transport, nothing. So you have to rent a car or go with a local person, which was a bit of an ordeal, but we got through it and we hired a car. We drove there. We saw someone hitchhiking on the side of the road, and we picked him up, some French guy called Tim, and he just so happened to be going to the VLTs as well.
As soon as he got in, he's like, are you going to the telescopes? He's like, mate, this is your lucky day. Yes, we are. If we hadn't picked him up, then, because like we got there on time, really, so if no one picked him up in the next 10, 15 minutes, he would have missed the tour.
Yeah, so he was very brave to hitchhike. But let me tell you about this tour. So it's like 2.5 hours, completely free. You get to walk inside the telescope, see how it all runs. Oh, you also get to, first part of the tour is you go to the hotel where all the astronomers stay, because you're in the middle of nowhere. So they need restaurants, they need places to sleep, showers, all of that. But this hotel is very famous for...
Yes, it was the hotel in James Bond, Quantum of Solace. There's a scene at the end where I think he has a fight and there's a fire and the hotel blows up. Really cool looking hotel in the middle of the desert. Yes, on James Bond, and I recognised it straight away.
Yeah, so we went there first, and then they take you in a bus up the hill to the telescopes themselves. And I think there's 10 up there, 9 on the main platform and 1 that's just off. And they all work together to create these images. And it's just absolutely incredible to see the size of these telescopes. And you go inside them, you can see the mirror plate. So these are the largest telescopes in the world, but they're the largest single mirrored telescopes, because there's larger ones elsewhere, but the mirror's kind of in fragments and they put it together.
Yes.
But I believe the mirror was made in France, designed in Germany, or they kind of worked together.
Well, built in Germany, polished in France.
Oh, there we go.
And then shipped all the way to Chile, to the port of Antofagasta, and then a big lorry had to drive the mirror through the desert at 5 miles an hour because they didn't want to go any quicker, because if it broke, that's the only mirror in the world, and it cost lots of money and took a very long time to build. Very interesting stuff. But yeah, this whole complex, you get there and you just think, like, how did they build this? To start with, they had to flatten a mountain to build everything on top of, didn't they?
It was really, really interesting. Anyway, we got to talk to two of the astronomers there. So we spoke to Gonzalo and Hector, and they work at the VLTs, but they're currently studying for their Masters in Astronomy as well. And we started by asking Gonzalo, why here in Chile? What is so good about Chile?
Okay, so basically the weather conditions here, they are very, very good for astronomy in general. We know that in the south of Chile it's a little bit more, you got like more austral temperatures, like low weather or a lot of rain, things like that. But in the north of Chile it's different. So basically from La Serena all the way up to Arica, the weather is very good. Temperatures are not that low, even in winter. And also we got here at the desert, there is like no rain during the entire year, no clouds, no strong winds. So basically these are very, very good conditions for astronomy in general and around the world. This is one of the best places actually for astronomy.
Okay, so Hector, who actually owns these VLTs?
Well, this is part of ESO, basically.
And so ESO stands for European...
Southern Observatory. Yes.
Southern...
The largest astronomical organization in the world.
And so what's the most impressive thing that these telescopes have shown us?
Well, there are a lot of things. I can start like listing them, but for example, some of them, the first image that was taken to an exoplanet in 2004 using one of these telescopes, actually UT1, using the NACO instrument over there. So this was basically a direct image to that planet. You can see, of course, this image in the website of ESO. And our observations, for example, is that from here, they collaborate with some data for the discovery of the expansion of the universe, which is accelerating right now. So also ESO collaborate with this data. And also for a very recent discovery, a couple of years ago, the gravitational waves were discovered using data from here and from other observatories.
So I guess here, what the telescopes are doing is they're mapping the universe daily. But are you looking for any objects a bit closer to home that might come in contact with the Earth?
Not in here. Like these telescopes, well, the survey one maps the sky, and the other one observes very distant objects because they're very powerful. And if you want to observe something that is close, it's not very good. Like if you were to observe the moon with these telescopes, you will fry the instruments. So no. Like at one point, Brian May from Queen, he observed Saturn with one of the telescopes, and they couldn't use the camera for like a week because it was saturated with light.
Really?
Because it's funny. So for these telescopes, Saturn is too close.
Yes, it's too bright.
Too bright and too close.
Okay, so last question. So how does an astronomer end up here? Obviously, they study, they become an astronomer, but do they have to rent the space and pay for it? Like, how does it work?
No, basically any astronomer around the world, they just have to apply through the website, okay, filling a specific form, putting in this form everything that he needs. So, for example, observing time, the nights that he needs, everything.
The cameras, instrument,
the cameras, instruments, settings, everything. Okay, so after that, it is evaluated by scientists from here, from ESO, and after that they approve or they accept this proposal, or maybe they reject it.
Okay, and do you get many proposals?
Yeah. Actually, it's 5 times more proposal that actually they can accept.
Wow.
And telescopes, are they being used every night of the year?
Yeah.
Every night except New Year.
Exactly. That's the only day.
Because that's when you guys party.
Yeah, what's an astronomer's party like? Is it hardcore?
I bet it is.
They usually involve some kind of beer.
Yeah. And Pisco?
Yeah.
Everything.
We're not able to say that. But
Okay. Pisco party with the astronomers. It's always the intellectuals that party the hardest.
Absolutely. Now, one thing that we didn't mention on that interview is that these telescopes are actually the most productive telescopes in the world. And by that, I mean that they publish around 2 to 3 scientific papers per day. That's how much stuff they are finding about outer space, and that just blew my mind.
I thought it was a place that no one, the public can't go, only if you work there, if you're an astronomer. So really, really enjoyed it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and thanks to Gonzalo and Hector for talking to us. It really enlightened everything, really, and they were so good at showing us around. It was really amazing. And I think if you are coming to Chile, then the main part of this country is nature and space. That's just kind of what it's all about, and it really is fascinating and really unique. I loved it.
Let's continue the stunning nature and landscapes by talking about San Pedro de Atacama. So that was our next stop. So we're still in the Atacama Desert, and we'd heard a lot about this town. It's very popular with tourists, so we were a bit worried that it would be a bit ruined, just covered in tourists. But it wasn't the case. A really kind of cute little desert town. Yes, there's lots of tourists there, but it definitely didn't feel spoilt. But the great thing about San Pedro is that there is just so much to do in the surrounding areas, isn't there? And yeah, what did you think of San Pedro itself as a town?
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, you're right. There are a lot of tourists, understandably. There's so much to do there, and so it's going to attract a lot of people. But it was a really cute little town. It had so much charm. It definitely had a unique style. I really liked it.
Completely agree. So we'll kick things off with our time in the Atacama Desert in San Pedro with a chat with a guy called Mauricio. Now, Mauricio was a bit of a legend. He worked at the hostel we were staying at, a hostel called Lascar Hostel. So we asked him what he thinks are the must-see and must-do things in the Atacama Desert.
I would say 3 things: Moon Valley, geysers, Tatio geysers, and Serra Lagoon. 2 of those things you can do it by tour, or you can do it by bike if you want. You can rent a bike for cheap. You can go to downtown. You can get a couple of bikes, and you can get to the Moon Valley in about 30 minutes. And you can get to Serra Lagoon in about 1 hour by bike. Everything else, you need to take a tour. You can book it with us if you want, of course. But you can go to town and you can check it out. You can see other agencies. You're going to get good prices if you keep asking. So I would recommend that. So if you have to do one thing, I would recommend Serra Lagoon, which is pretty unique. You're going to get the same effect that you get in the Dead Sea. So you get the same effect. And that's pretty unique because you're not going to find that anywhere else in the rest of South America.
How many years have you been living here?
Here in San Pedro, just a couple of months. Just, I think, 3 months. Yes, 3 months.
Okay, so what's it like living in a desert and like the driest place on earth, really?
I lived most of my life in the desert, in the northern regions of Chile. So I would say it's pretty harsh sometimes. You cannot go out without your sunblock. You cannot go without your hat, your sunblock. Your water, it's like mandatory. You have to have those things.
Is there a best time of year to come here?
I would say during November, December, because it doesn't get that hot. It doesn't get that cold. Because if you come in in February, it's very hot. January is very hot. And if you come in July, August, that's very cold. So I would recommend from October to December, more or less.
And obviously a lot of people that come here are backpackers, so they're on tight budgets. So you said that we can bike to Moon Valley, and that's cheap because to hire some bikes is about £3.50. But is there any other tips to do it cheaply here in San Pedro?
You can go plenty of places without tours, and even without bikes. You can go walking distances. Just out of town, you can see the stars. You can see, if you're lucky, you're gonna get clear skies and plenty of shooting stars. So that thing is pretty amazing, and that's free, obviously.
And finally, can you tell us about this desert party?
Yes. That desert party, it's a bonfire that you're gonna get just out of town, a couple miles from here, on walking distance. From here to from the hostel to the desert party, you're gonna take probably 20-30 minutes tops. That's pretty cool because you can bring your own drinks, you can have your own party. You don't need to get to the bonfire itself. You can go out of the hills if you want, just to see the stars, enjoy the music, and that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So basically, people need to stay here at Hostel Lascar so they can come to you and find directions and time for this party, yeah?
Yes, of course, you can come. People have come here from all over the world, so you're all welcome, of course.
thanks very much to Mauricio there for talking to us about San Pedro de Atacama. And that was really helpful advice. And we didn't actually go to that desert party because, unfortunately, we didn't have time. But we did take his advice and rent bikes to go to Valle de la Luna, Moon Valley, and also to do some stargazing because we walked kind of 20 minutes out of San Pedro to get away from the light pollution, and we had a great time. There was 5 of us in total, us 2, a Brazilian, a German girl and a French guy, and it was so amazing. I downloaded one of those free stargazing apps on my phone, so we basically had a tour, we had some wine and beers, we took it out of the city and we sat down and watched the stars together, and it was amazing. It
was fantastic, yeah. And an activity like that, stargazing, is completely free. Yes, you can pay for tours, but we had tour guide Amy with us with her app, which tells you all the constellations. And yeah, that was the most stars I've ever seen in my life. It was fantastic, just a walk out of the city. So I've got a little list here of all the activities we did in San Pedro de Atacama, Amy. Mm-hmm. So we're going to tell you what we did and how we did it for as cheap as possible, because this is the thing with San Pedro. We were told it's nice, but it's expensive. It's going to cost you to see all this nature, okay? So, yes, like you said, we went to Valle de la Luna, which I think is a must-do when you're there. We rented bikes, so that kept that nice and cheap. The bike journey home, though, was quite difficult because we were knackered and hot by this point. We were very tired. God.
Yeah, we actually did like 11, 12 kilometres up and downhill. And I was so tired by the end of it. But with Valle de la Luna, I'd say that's the first thing you should do when you get there, just because it's so close to San Pedro and it's just like a good base start to all the nature.
Yeah, so be prepared for a bit of a bike ride, but it was fine. We made it.
Oh, and also just next door to Valle de la Luna is Valle de la Muerte, I think, Death Valley. And apparently it looks completely different. We didn't go because we were too tired.
Yeah.
So, but we've heard it's really good. So, you know, you can do both of those and it's nice and cheap because you're on a bike.
So we also did, like we said, astronomy with wine. Cheap bottle of wine. That's all it was. 2 or 3 quid. Done. That's another activity. I've also written down Salty Lagoon, which I'm going to get the proper name, but this Mauricio was talking about the most famous one, where, yeah, it's just a lagoon. Ceja. It's a lagoon in the middle of the desert, and you can float because the water's so salty. But Amy done very well. She found an alternative one, which not many tourists go to, so you have it all to yourself, and it's much cheaper.
Yeah, so it's 3 times cheaper than Ceja Lagoon, and we paid about £8 to get in, I think, and you have showers there as well. So, you know, it's in the middle of the desert, but they have amenities to help you clean up and get back on your way.
And it was a great experience, just lying in this water, floating in the desert. But the place is called Lagunas Escondidas de Baltinachi.
Baltinachi.
Do you want to read that?
Lagunas Escondidas de Baltinachi.
Now, you do need a car to get there, and you need a car for a lot of things. Yeah, you can rent bikes, like we said, to a few things, but this is what I'm going to say. This is how we save money. So we went to that place. We also went to a lagoon with flamingos, like that's what you want to see when you're there. And we went to El Tatio geysers, yeah, the famous geysers, and it's like a 2-in-1 because you can also go in thermal baths there. So I've said all the things we did. Now, we worked out if we did that all through tours, that should have cost us £138 each. We did it by renting a car, getting a group of travellers together, entrance fees, car, petrol, everything. We did it for £71 each. So 138 versus 71. So we worked out, we actually saved, but of 2 of us, we saved £133 in total. So that's pretty good if you're backpacking on a budget.
There we go. See, now that's still a lot of money, £71. Was it 71?
Yeah.
But that was over like 3 to 4, maybe 5 days. And we did so much, and it was the best part. Well, one of the best parts of our whole trip. It was amazing. And it was so nice to stay with the same group and, you know, watch the sunsets together with the flamingos flying over us, again with a bottle of wine. And, you know, you just got to think, how can I do this as cheap as possible? Even though we still went over budget because our daily budget is about £30 for both of us. That's accommodation, activities, everything. We still went over, but it was worth it. And you have to kind of weigh these things up when you're traveling. Because, like, at the moment, we're doing £20 a day because we're in a cheaper place. So we're balancing it out. And I think it was so worth it. I don't regret not spending that money at all.
Absolutely. This part in the Atacama Desert was by far my favorite part of Chile. It blew my mind. Even when you're driving to like the attractions, the geysers or the thermal pools, even on the drive there and back, like you end up stopping at places because the view is amazing. Like this landscape, the Atacama Desert is incredible. It's not just this dry place. Surprisingly, there's lots of water, lagoons and stuff there as well. Mountains, snow-capped mountains. This place was so beautiful. So Atacama Desert, like everyone should go there. It was my favorite part of Chile. It was amazing.
Yeah, and we were just so worried it was going to be this touristy place, too expensive to do anything. But, you know, we worked out a way how it works for us. We had the freedom of the car, so we could go wherever we wanted. And it was just really, really nice to spend that time with these group of people. It was amazing. So, yeah, I would really recommend San Pedro de Atacama. Again, we really don't like all these touristy places, but this place was so nice. All the locals were really sweet and really helpful, always giving you tips. And yeah, it was great.
Fantastic. Loved it. Yeah, I really, really loved it.
Now that marks the end of our trip and the end of the first episode of Series 4. But we still need to review. So we're going to review in a different way now. We used to just review out of 10 for the whole country. But now we're going to put it into categories because we understand that you travellers out there are completely different people. Some of you love culture. Some of you love cities. Some of you love nature. You know, it's all different. Some of you go travelling for food alone. So we're going to break it down so that you know which countries best suit you.
Exactly. So we're going to start with the first category is culture, bang. And that includes like food, people, music, city, history. That's all culture, okay? So for Chile, what do you think, Amy, for culture out of 10?
Oh, I am going to give Chile an 8 out of 10.
Woo, okay, that's good. That's
yeah,
I thought.
I feel like I have a connection with the people because of being English. You know, it's kind of like you're cold at first, but then people turn really warm. Food was great. Love choriana. I mean, I'd prefer there to be more vegetables and stuff, but I'm not going to moan about that. I mean, loads of countries are like that. Music, city, history, like, yeah, I think it's really interesting.
I'm going to go a bit lower. This is going to sound harsh, but bear with me. I'm giving this category a 6 out of 10.
I don't think you've ever gone lower than me before.
Yeah, but that's only because there's nothing wrong with the culture or the people there. But when I travel, yeah, I want to go to places like India or Brazil where it's like, bang, culture hits you in the face. It's so different from where we're from. And because it is a bit similar, you know, like you said, from where we are, I was like, yeah. So, yeah, nothing wrong with the culture, but I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 for me as a travel destination. Let's move on. Next, culture, expense, like value for money. What do you get back for your money? Amy?
Yes, now Chile is an expensive country, especially for South America. Especially. Yep. Even if it was in Europe, it would probably be on the high end, I think.
Yeah, on par, yeah.
So, yeah, with the tours and that you have to do the tours in some places and it gets expensive and, like, hiring a car was expensive. Like, European prices, 40 quid a day to rent a car. and then it's petrol on top, you know. And, like, eating out for two, we'd probably spend, £15 for dinner?
You could do, yeah, unless you go for the real cheap fast food, which is just not good for you. You can't eat that every day.
Yeah. So, value for money. I'm going to have to go low on this, guys. I'm really sorry. But I haven't really thought this through. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10.
Whoa.
Oh,
ouch.
Ouch.
Okay, well, mine's better, but still bad. 5 out of 10, because, yes, it's expensive, but you can do a lot of cool things.
Yeah, but that's not value for money, is it?
Yeah, but
that's culture.
No, but if it's expensive and you can do bad things, that's bad value for money. It's expensive, but you can do good things. So
yeah, I guess for what you get. Okay, but that was what I said.
Stick to
right,
it.
Last category.
Nature. Now, come on. We can agree, even if you go north, south, middle, whatever, east, west, up, down, Chile is the one for nature.
I think we're going to say the same number. Ready? After 3. 1, 2, 3. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, bruv.
Absolutely.
Yes, boy. Yeah, you can't fault it. The desert or Patagonia in the south, it's got everything. Mountains, lakes, bloody hell. Like, it blew my mind. So if you're a nature lover, Chile is one of the places you have to go to.
It is beautiful. I would say it's like if someone came from outer space and said, look, I love the mountains, Amy. I love the sea. I love all nature. Where should I go? Go Chile, mate.
Oh, For sure, do
That's
it.
what I'd say.
Any part of Chile, north, south, like I said, any part of it, it's just bloody great.
Yeah.
So good. I think that works well, our new system.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll stick with that one for now.
Great.
So what's next on What the Full Travel Podcast?
What is coming up next? Oh my God, there is so much coming up next. That's what? The next main episode is Turkey. So yeah, we're going to get away from South America, completely different culture. And that's an interesting one. Our game, you might remember from our Instagram stories, we play The Apprentice. If you don't know what that is, just wait and listen next week. Next month.
And as usual, you can check out our Patreon for videos because we're filming this entire trip as well as making documentaries about really cool and quirky things we find on the way, on the road, on this trip. And you can also find our merchandise and t-shirts, all of that, on our website, whatthefotravelpodcast.com. And also, if you're listening through iTunes or Spotify, whatever, please give us a review because it really helps push us forward and get other people to find us.
Absolutely. All these things keep us going. So if you really want to support the show, like Amy said, iTunes review, merchandise, and check out our Patreon for not just videos, but all sorts of different rewards that you can get, bonus material. Thank you, guys. We will see you very soon. It's good to be back. Series 4. Here we go. Don't forget, you can get in touch with the show. You can email us at whatthefopodcast@gmail.com. We are also on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we are also on Patreon. For more information on all those things, you can go to our website at www.whatthefotravelpodcast.com.